Hello, everyone, and welcome to Nihongaku, a story of Japan. Episode 8, I believe we're on already. Time goes quickly. 5,000 years has gone by quickly. We just finished the Heian period, the final period of what is considered to be Japanese classical antiquity, or the classical period at least. And what has just begun is the Kamakura period, which lasted from 1185 to 1333. We kind of missed the first 15 years, but no matter. Let us continue with this game. Someone pointed out, usefully, although I wish I had realized this beforehand, that all three of our cities are have a mountain tile. I mean, Tokyo's a little farther away, but have a mountain tile within reach. If only we had built our cities closer to them, we could have gotten observatories in all three. Alas, I screwed up and did not do that. And now we'll probably never have an observatory because I don't know where else we're going to be building with mountains. Solomon wants open borders? No. He couldn't possibly use open borders for anything other than tourism at this point, if he even has that, but I don't know if he does. Anyway, what happened in the Kamakura period? And during this period, Japan was still nominally run by the emperor, but there was a new governing body in the form of the shogun. Borders of Kyoto have grown. Yeah. Oh, we already had open borders with Suleiman. This doesn't need to be her. This can go over to border with China. Samurai, you can stop there. I think that's enough military units for that specific spot. Let's build a workshop here. Yeah. So the new shogun really governed Japan during this period. The first shogun was Minamoto no Yorimoto. No, man, stop asking. And the main difference between the shogun and the emperor is that whereas the emperor is mainly a diplomatic and political presence, the shogun is at his most fundamental level a military general. And this rulership of this military man came along with the Kamakura period, which saw a lot of militarization to the extent that there was not already militarization in the Heian period, which there actually really wasn't because it was pretty peaceful. During this period, the samurai caste system solidified as these warriors. I think samurai literally means like he who serves or something along the lines of that. And they are basically specialized fighting aristocrats. They were the aristocrats. And the reason that this was going on in this period was, let's see, where are we going to send this guy next? I don't want to send him right into this trap of Guangzhou, so let's go south. Why can't great prophets can go through territory? Yeah, there's someone else there. Okay, that's fine. Is that there was we talked in the previous video, I think, or maybe 2 videos ago, about how the Heian period had seen a surprising amount of peace and stability. Tokyo, we need a market. Yes. This all came to an end in the Kamakura period for various reasons, which I'll get to eventually. There was a lot of infighting between various different powers. Sure. Okay. I don't really know why she wants to be friends, but that's fine. And generally, the country became very divided into domain-type structures, and it became very important for people to be able to defend, because there wasn't that much... Oh, we finished our research agreement. There wasn't that much unity. Individual people needed to protect their holdings better, and so these... I don't want to call them mercenaries, but certainly fighters who would help protect these people's lands. Those were the samurai. They became incredibly important to survival, so they were elevated highly in the social structure. This was also a period during which Japan is thought to have become feudal. And I'm sure most of you are familiar with the feudal society structure with the king and then the lord or various... I don't know the specifics, but if it's like a lot of vassalage and fiefs and lords and land being taken care of by people who don't own it themselves, but who are working it and paying their lord in exchange for protection, which also came from samurai. Okay, we're still converting all these Chinese cities to Shinto, and there's nothing that's going to stop us. Excellent. Kyoto needs a new city. I mean, a new building. Do we need some more? We still don't have galleass, for God's sake, do we? Oh, I didn't open our tech tree. Printing press. Yeah, we still don't even have frickin' compass. That's kind of embarrassing. Well, I don't think we need another trireme. So let's build an armory. Should be good. This was the Kamakura period, which only lasts another 70 years. Also, probably because there was a kind of lack of political unity, Japan basically cut most, if not all, of its communications with both China and Korea. Both countries, China and Korea, particularly China, made various attempts to send emissaries to Japan to try to get them to trade or just communicate or whatnot, and they were often either sent back or just beheaded because the shogun did not want to deal with that stuff. And I don't know what year this is going to put us in, 1780, but something very important happens in 1274. Hanoi desires a trade route. Okay, 1280. Okay, well, we skipped it a little bit, but in 1274, the Mongols, who had already come from the north and taken over northern China, led by Kublai Khan, invaded Japan. This was really like I think they invaded in Kyushu around here. And this was really like the first time in history, as we've seen. I mean, this is kind of unprecedented that like a huge force like this has basically invaded with the intention of destroying and conquering Japanese territory. The Mongol army consisted of some Korean fighters, some Chinese fighters, and a lot of Mongol fighters. So there's so many different races in the area that is China and Mongolia and whatnot that it's hard to... unlike Japan, where like most people are the Wa race, so there are always a large mix of races within the Chinese groups. Anyway, so Kublai Khan and the Mongols invaded in 1274. It was... people seem to have varying... I don't know how this is even something that one has opinions on, but there doesn't seem to be that much like certainty about exactly what happened. But what ended up happening was that the Mongols lost their first invasion. It's hard to tell exactly how successfully the Japanese were fending them off in that first invasion, but it seems like, from what I've read, most sources agreed that there was a typhoon that basically just wiped out the entire Mongol fleet, which prevented them from getting reinforcements and basically crippled them. And that was the main reason that they failed the first time. And so Kublai Khan retreated back to the mainland continent and realized that, well, he had mostly lost because of natural disasters, and that if he just attacked again, that of course would not happen twice, so he would easily be able to take Japan next time. And so in 1281, 9 years ago, he invaded again, and once again he did kind of well, and then a typhoon destroyed his fleet. And it's like kind of like absurd how lucky it seems Japan got in that sense. It's hard to tell how successfully they otherwise could have fended the Mongolians off. I mean, having a pretty small island like this is a good, and plus with the hills and everything, it is a good defensive position, but let's actually try to go up and get Beijing. There were something like 600 Mongolian ships each time around that, which I think was a lot more than the Japanese might have been able to deal with, and especially because the Mongolians came with explosive artillery and more advanced bow technology and whatnot. But the Japanese got, through a combination of martial prowess, because they were good defenders, and incredible luck, they never had to worry about the Mongols again. Or that's not actually true, but they, after 1281, they didn't have to worry about them for a long time. Tokyo, what are you going to build here? Probably a castle, definitely. You keep going up this way. Please? Yeah. The unfortunate thing about this, the whole Mongol, I mean, other than the fact that they were getting invaded and thousands of Japanese died, was that Wuzeitan, they stole the Himeji castle from me, that's mine. Was that because the economy, despite the fact that the Mongols had been repelled, the Japanese economy was so destroyed by their invasion that basically no Japanese who helped fend the Mongols off were rewarded at all by the government or otherwise. And this, as I mentioned earlier, this is possibly one of the biggest causes, if not the biggest cause, of general kind of disaffection with the government and disunity in this period, which led to the kind of separation of different areas. And this also, however, just ended up eventually leading to the end of the Kamakura Bakufu, or the shogunal office, which ended in 1333. We're not quite there yet, but I just built another camp. I guess we have so many camps to build. Keep going to Beijing. I know this is going to be hard for you to get up there because this place is filled with people. Otherwise, the Kamakura Bakufu, no open borders, were also trying to control the while the shogun had a lot of, just to clarify, so the Bakufu is the Japanese name for the like shogunate office, kind of like we would refer to Parliament as the kind of office of the leading office of England. Anyway, so the Bakufu at the end of the Kamakura period, which we're coming to here, they began trying to they had a lot of power, but the emperor was still incredibly important and kind of ideological and cultural views in Japan at this time, and he also still had some power. And Osaka, what do you want to build? Let's build a barracks. Kyoto. Ooh, we could go for another wonder. Leaning Tower of Pisa. Should have built an artist guild beforehand. Oh, we just need more trade routes as well. Let's try Leaning Tower of Pisa. Let's do it. We also, that means, we haven't met anyone. I forgot that we just did printing press. We haven't met anyone. Can we upgrade? So we need to get to astronomy so we can meet people. Anyway, as I refuse to allow myself to finish beforehand, the Bakufu tried to take too much power from the emperor. As the Bakufu was growing weaker and weaker, they tried to take more power from the emperor. They tried to control the emperor's succession and put in their own imperial heir. And basically no one in Japan liked that, and a bunch of rebels rose up. And a bunch of rebels who were not necessarily pro or like imperial loyalists, but they just didn't like the Bakufu, and they didn't like the shogun was taking all this control. So they rose up around a time we're in right now, 1330, and they destroyed the Kamakura Bakufu. The Kamakura shogun was no more, and that was basically it for the Kamakura period. Where are we gonna send this guy? It'd be nice to have more money. We don't need more growth. So let's go to gold, Guangzhou, and Hong Kong. I don't want to give the Chinese money. Hong Kong doesn't happen to need Hanoi needs a trade route. Damn. Well, I guess we could do this to get the Shinto into Guangzhou. That's fine. Still no luck getting this damn guy. These guys are really making this hard for me. It would be lovely if we could just get 2 tiles over. Thanks, China. Rest. Next turn. And so this brings us to the end of the Kamakura period. And I guess we can... It's only been 15 minutes, so we can get into the beginning of the... I'd say we can get into the beginning of the next period, but I actually don't have any of my notes for the next period. So we can get a little bit into it, but I don't want to get all the way into it because I don't want to skip the whole period and not talk about the history. Borders of Osaka have grown. Okay, that's fine. All right, so the Kamakura period ended in 1333, and 1333, and then in 1338, when things settled down a little bit, that is when the Muromachi period began, and that lasted until 1573, which is a long time from now. Probably be in the industrial era by then. And one of the main defining characteristics of this period, especially at the beginning, what it kind of began with, was that all the conflict around the Bakufu and the emperor at the end of the Kamakura period was, I don't remember which one it was, but the shogunate wanted to put in an emperor from a northern line of emperor, or from northern line of emperor DNA or something, whereas the emperor had always come from the south, and the southern emperor didn't like this. And I mean, the people in the north weren't actually emperors. They were part of the family tree of the emperors. And the Muromachi period began in 1338 with basically the country kind of divided between these two quote unquote emperor heirs vying for the imperial throne. And they basically were stuck in a war, the two northern and southern heirs, from 1336 to 1392, which is a long time to be at war. But the imperial throne is an important thing. Okay, let's go astronomy. Where's our trireme? Here he is. We're going to send him over to America soon. Unless, I mean, there could be someone in Germany or France or anything here. Probably not France. Spain's right there, but Spain is doing poorly. I wish we could trade maps. How many people have we met? I think we still have 3 to meet. Yeah, that's true. And that's basically all I have for the Muromachi period right now. I particularly like the name Muromachi. Osaka. Do not need Globe Theater. We could take another... Oh, a Galeas. A Galeas. I've never really known how to pronounce that. Where is the cargo ship? We don't particularly need a Galeas. I'm going to make another cargo ship. Shouldn't fall behind too much in military strength, but... I don't think we even have a barracks. Oh, we do have a barracks in Osaka. We don't have an armory. So I'd rather be making the armories, or do we have it? Yeah. I'd rather be making the ships in Kyoto. And Osaka's also just farther away. How are we doing on demographics? Mogadishu wants Mombasa bullied. I'm not going to be able to help you guys with that. 5th in population. It's pretty good. Manufactured goods 8. It's alright. Land 9. Literacy 4. Perhaps the most important of all the demographics. So that's pretty good. GNP and soldiers are both so easy to change that I barely ever worry. I mean, soldiers I worry about in the short run, but in the long run, it's easy to boost them up. I generally just don't focus too heavily on military, except if I'm intentionally doing a military campaign. Yes, Gandhi, let's work together. Can we do another science thingamajig? Scientific agreement. That would be wonderful. Also, we have -2 iron. Samurai? Who are we getting iron from? Was it you? Probably actually was you. Let's see. Research agreement. Gandhi has negative $19. What do you want for this? 2 horses? Alright. Will you give me 3 iron for 2 horses? Right, he's not that stupid. Okay, let's do 2 for 2. Fine with that deal. Alright. Would never have used those horses, so this is basically free iron. I always love that. How are we doing? We're about in the middle. We are now doing quite well in technology. Yeah, so we're... How was China? China's still ahead. China and Persia are still ahead. Who are we spying on? Persepolis. I'm still trying to decide if we should build a road between Osaka and Kyoto. I don't know. Seems it's a lot of money to spend. Anyway, let's send this guy... Could improve some more land in Tokyo. Could we? Should we give Osaka another... This guy doesn't have a terribly large amount of production. Now let's make 1 mine... Man, I don't know. I'm going to send him over to Tokyo. Tokyo. Ife and the Celts are now... Yeah. Okay, Tokyo. What do you want most, Tokyo? This is like the maid's tale from... Or the wife's tale from Canterbury Tales. What does Tokyo want most? What Tokyo wants most is to decide what Tokyo wants and not have us decide. But unfortunately that's not possible, so let's do a workshop. Actually, let's do a granary. Tokyo could use a couple more population. I mean, I know we're running low on happiness, but actually, are we still allies with Kuala Lumpur? We are. We're probably gonna... What's Hanoi? They're militaristic. Probably gonna want to become allies with Hong Kong, and they want us to give them money. Yes, thank you. Now that you have enough money all of a sudden. So they want us to pledge protection and give them a gift of gold, which is pretty good. I think pledging, if they are asking for it, I think pledging them gives 20. That will get us into friends, at least for a couple turns. And then we'll be able to pay them once we have the money. Tokyo has grown. That's fine. If I remember to do this, I'll do it later. I'll do it within that 6 turns. I'd rather maximize it. Globe theater's been built. Thank God we didn't do that. So close to astronomy. I should move this trireme over here so he'll be closer to America. Alright. Finish your damn turn, AI. Let's get this going. No one else wants money? A lot of people want me to destroy barbarian encampments, but I don't think that's going to be happening right now. Because they're all way too far away. Listen, Solomon, I don't think so. Is anyone making tourism? We're making tourism. Let's see. Influenced by player. Cultural victory. Who's making the most? China and the Celts are making 6. We're making... Most people are just making 4. Okay, that's nothing to worry about. Wait, what are the Ottomans? I just want to make sure the Ottomans are... Yeah, they're at 2, so they're not really a threat. So we could do open wars just to please them. But we also don't particularly need to please them, so whatever. This will give us 2 happiness. Great. Excellent pagoda placement. Harbor, I think, is the next... operative next thing to connect them to our capital. Cargo ship. I'll send you to Kyoto. Actually, I could send you to Satsuma. That'd be a fantastic... Just like in real life, this will make Satsuma a good trading, so good way to trade with people in this... Actually, I was going to say people in the south, but Satsuma trades with people in the west in real life. Or traded, because they traded with Korea. Okay, I'll send you to Satsuma. This will be our way... This will be the way we can reach Hanoi. Not that we particularly need to be friends with Hanoi, but they also want Shinto. Oh, speaking of Shinto, I've completely forgot about my guy over here. But now he's into Beijing. Osaka, you can build a harbor, because for God's sake, you're not connected to the capital yet? Jeez, we should have done that. Oh, we just got harbors, didn't we? Our capital probably doesn't even have a harbor. Yep. we will hopefully build that after we, crossing our fingers, get the Leaning Tower of Pisa. I'm going to play until we have the Leaning Tower of Pisa, and then, or not, and then I'll end the video. Send you to Hong Kong. Not Hong Kong. Hanoi. That will also send some religion to Hanoi, but we could also just send the prophet down there. That might be... Oh, does this not convert these guys? I'm trying to think if we should send this guy down to Hanoi to get the alliance. I think we should actually do that. Because between a trade route there and a great prophet will be up, and then he'll start giving us military units, which are exactly what we need right now. Get all these resources up here. This is fantastic. This would be a really good place for a city, like right here. There we'd be able to build an observatory. We'd have copper, pearls, furs, fish, not deer, but wouldn't be too great food-wise. Great scientist. Excellent. I'm probably just going to put you down somewhere. Actually, I have to go because my parents just got home. So thank you guys very much for watching, and see you next time.